The surprise family photo. This is my summer story. The summer sun was shining brightly in our backyard, and fluffy white clouds floated slowly across the blue sky. Birds chirped in the trees, and colorful flowers swayed gently in the warm breeze. Mom walked outside, carrying a camera and smiling. Dad looked up from watering the plants. "I have an idea," Mom announced. "Let's take a family picture." Dad smiled and put down the garden hose. My little sister bounced up and down excitedly. I clapped my hands. "We can stand by the flowers," I said. "We can stand by the tree," said my little sister. Mom laughed. "We just need everyone together," she said. Then she looked around carefully. She whispered. "Where is Muffin?" Our cat Muffin loved taking naps in funny places. Sometimes he slept under chairs. Sometimes he slept behind curtains. Sometimes he curled up inside empty boxes. We looked under the table. We looked beside the flowers. We looked under the backyard chair, but Muffin was nowhere to be found. Dad scratched his head. "He was outside a minute ago," he said. My little sister cupped her hands around her mouth. "Muffin," she called. "Muffin." We listened carefully. The backyard felt very quiet. Then suddenly, we heard a tiny sound nearby. Meow. Everyone stopped moving. Dad looked left. Mom looked right. I looked near the fence. My little sister looked beside the flower garden. Meow. We heard it again. Dad raised one eyebrow. "That sounded close," he whispered. We tiptoed slowly across the grass. Step, 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 step. Then I looked toward the big bush beside the tree. Something fluffy was sticking out. Something orange. Something furry. My eyes opened wide. "I found him," I shouted. Muffin was hiding behind the bush with only his tail sticking out. My little sister giggled. "Silly Muffin," she laughed. Dad carefully picked up Muffin and carried him over. Muffin stretched his paws and yawned a giant yawn. Mom smiled. "Now our family picture is complete," she said. Dad sat beside Mom. I sat beside Dad. My little sister hugged Muffin tightly. Everyone smiled at the camera. Mom placed the camera on a little table. Then she pushed a button. Click! Suddenly, the timer started counting down. Beep, beep, beep. Mom's eyes grew wide. "Oh no," she shouted. "I forgot the timer." Everyone scrambled across the grass. Dad hurried. Mom hurried. I hurried. My little sister hurried. Even Muffin wriggled in Dad's arms. Dad almost tripped over the blanket. My little sister almost sat in the wrong spot. Then, click, the camera flashed. We hurried over to see the picture. Dad was making a funny face. Mom was laughing. I was blinking. My little sister was hugging Muffin upside down. We all stared for one quiet second. Then we burst into laughter. Mom smiled and said, "That may be our funniest family picture ever." And that was my summer story.